Hola chicos, en este video vamos a hablar de los adjetivos posesivos, possessive adjectives. Toda la información está en página 169 del libro Avancemos. Ahora estamos en unidad 3, lección 2, para español 1. Nota gramatical. We'll start with our grammatical note here. This is from página 166. You've probably noticed from our vocabulary practice in class that in Spanish, the apostrophe S is never used, so it doesn't even exist. In order to show possession in Español, we're going to use the word de plus a noun that refers to the owner or possessor. Por ejemplo, el gato de Marisa, los primos de Juan. This is how I would say Marissa's cat or Juan's cousins. So in Spanish, it's literally the cat of Marissa or the cousins of Juan. Our goal for this particular chapter with possessive adjectives is to obviously express possession or express relationships when dealing with family, because we don't own our family members. So then we will use this to talk about our family members and also to give important dates like birth dates and anniversaries, etc. To connect this with English, we actually have the same thing. We have possessive adjectives to describe relationships between people or things or to show who's the owner of something. However, in English, all the forms do not change. In Spanish, we're going to have some subtle changes. So up above, I have a little comic strip there, and it has some examples of English possessive adjectives. So I would say not just the hat, but his hat or her hat or their hats. So you'll notice that regardless of singular or plural, I don't have any changes with my adjectives. They always stay the same in English. In Spanish, we know we have to make our adjectives agree with the noun that they modify. So they are my cousins. In Español, I would say ellos son mis primos. Since primos is plural, my adjective must be plural as well. In Spanish, possessive adjectives agree in number and gender, like we've studied with other adjectives. So down below, I have our chart. So we'll first start with the adjectives and their meaning. So these are all of the possessive adjectives in their singular form. Mi is equivalent to my. Tu is how I would say your, the informal version, one that I can use with friends and family. Su is the word for his, hers, or its if it's not really a human I'm talking about. And I can also use su if I'm talking to someone respectfully using that usted form. So I would say this to my boss or to a police officer, anyone older than myself or anyone that would be an authority figure that I'm going to use the respectful usted form with. On the plural side, if I want to say our, it would be nuestro or nuestra, depending on the adjective or the noun that I'm describing. Vuestro, vuestra. This is the Spain form. That's how I would say y'all's family. And su, just like we did with the singular form, it will also be su for the ustedes form or the ellos, ellas form. So this could mean their or your formal. Unos ejemplos. Ella es mi tía. This would be the Spanish form for she is my aunt. Notice that I'm talking about one aunt, so my adjective is singular, mi tía. This next slide goes over all of the plural forms, so you'll recognize all of these are the exact same. I'm simply adding an S. So down below I can use this to describe not just my aunt, but my aunts, so I would have to add that S to make it plural since my noun is plural. Ellas son mis tías. They are my aunts. Quick little note, notice that nuestro and vuestro, I do have to change the gender on these two particular forms. So my ending instead of an O will change to an A if I'm describing a feminine noun. Por ejemplo, nuestra abuela tiene 70 años. Nuestra and abuela must agree. So since my noun, abuela, I'm referring to a female, I will say nuestra to match the noun. Finalmente, nuestros abuelos viven en San Francisco. Our grandparents live in San Francisco. Since I'm referring to grandparents and I have a mixed group here, un abuelo, una abuela, I'm going to say nuestros to match abuelos. Excelente, chicos. Please make sure you do the Google form that follows so that you'll be ready for our in-class practice. Muchas gracias y adiós.